Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you friends for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, creepy drunk tries to hit on me. I say no, so he ends up flashing me. I call the police and soon quit my job. The second story, the company demands that I do all the work that they tell me to do, but I will not be paid extra and I will not be promoted. I left there when another company started something similar, and I was already putting conditions on it. The third story, complained about slow laptop. Boss told me to look for a job elsewhere. I did. Rest of the team did so in the next 12 months. The first story is, make being drunk and horny my problem. Meet the police. About 8 years ago, I worked the front desk of a rather nice hotel off a highway in Kansas. This particular part of the state was pretty empty, but was on the route to several important places. Most of the guests were nice, a few hard-to-please people here and there. Luckily, I worked nights, so usually by the time I started, most of the guests had already checked in. Those who came later at night were usually tired from traveling long distances. They just wanted to check in and go to sleep. Some people were night owls and would hang around to talk. Usually that wasn't a problem, but sometimes. On the night of this story, it was 1:30 a.m. The time I cancel any unclaimed reservations is 2 a.m. I have one paper notice still sitting in the reservation box. I'm about to start the final audit for the night when the automatic doors slide open. I smelled him before I saw him stumble in. Looked like late 40s, early 50s. Obviously drunk and carrying no suitcase. I straighten up and brace for the unexpected. Instead of yelling or making demands, the guy asks how my night is and if he's still in time to claim his room. I laughed and said, "You just made it. Are you so-and-so?" "That's me." His speech is slurred. He reached forward and put a supporting hand on the counter. "Do I need to do anything?" "Just show me an ID and let me scan a credit card," I reply with a smile. He says nothing, just fumbles for his wallet. He hands over the things I asked for. I start entering the information. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the guy eyeing me up. It's horribly obvious, probably because of how drunk he was. It's not a new thing. You get all kinds after all. 3 weeks into the job, I had started wearing a ring so I could tell customers that hit on me that I was taken. Though truthfully, I was single at the time. As I hand the guy his key and an envelope with breakfast tickets, he grabbed my hand softly. "You're really beautiful," he says in a sort of creepy way he probably thought was sexy. I somehow manage to keep my cool and smile as I take my hand back. "Thanks, it's just a standard uniform. Will there be anything else?" "Are you single?" he asks, clearly just going for it thanks to the liquid courage. "No, I'm married," I say with a smile as I flash my fake ring. The tension that had been building in me started to ease. This is where all the people who hit on me normally backed off. "I won't tell if you don't," he says with a sloppy wink, while flashing me a ring of his own. Now I just feel sick. Not only is this guy drunk and creepy, he's married too. I frown. I'm really not interested, and I think it's time for you to go to your room. I point to my left. The elevator's just over there. The guy's smile remains wide as he makes a show of trying to peek around the corner without actually moving. "Where?" He kinda sounds like he's trying not to laugh. I sigh. "Just there." I make an extra turning motion as I point again. "Literally just around that corner." "I can't see it," he says in that same tone, still not moving more than his head. He shoots me a creepy look and wiggles his eyebrows while saying, "Could you come out here and show me?" The door that leads to the front desk area is 10 feet from the elevator doors. It closes quickly and locks automatically. So I say, "Sure, copy me." I gesture in the direction he should go while walking over to the door, making a bit of a show of turning the knob. He beams wider and rushes around the corner. I poke my top half out of the crack I've made in the doorway and point directly at the elevators. "They're right there. Your room is on the 3rd floor. Have a good night." I shut the door before he can reply and run into the laundry room. The TV with the camera feed on it is there because that's also where the manager's desk is. I watch the man stand there for about a minute before getting in the elevator. Only when I see him exited on the 3rd floor do I sigh in relief. My eyes scan the other camera feeds, mostly out of habit, and I see it. A big truck still running is parked right in front of the main doors. There's no one inside. Curious, I investigate. Sure enough, the truck is still running. It's also taken up all the space where people usually unload their suitcases for family members or hotel staff to take inside. The doors are unlocked, so I peek inside. The whole thing reeks of booze. Only then does it really click that super drunk creepy guy drove here himself. Also, the truck is a stick. I can't drive stick. which means I can't move the truck even if I wanted to. So instead, I just turn the car off and take the car keys inside. The next 30 minutes go normally. I've calmed down and moved on with my night. I almost SH myself when the phone starts to ring. The guest phone hardly ever rings after 11 p.m. unless something's very wrong. I answer the phone quickly. "Hello, this is front desk. What can I help you with?" The voice on the other end is instantly recognizable. My TV remote won't work. I look down at the display on the phone and confirm my fear. It was the room belonging to Creepy Drunk. I hold in a sigh and respond, "Have you made sure it's set to aux?" That tended to be a problem for some reason. Just press the button that says AUX. The light should flash red. Nothing happened, Creepy Drunk says without pause. The light didn't come on. A short pause. "Can you come up here and fix it for me?" The tone was like rotten honey. I shivered. "No," I said firmly. "If you come down here with it, I can give you a replacement. We had a whole drawer of spares just in case. Will there be anything else?" "Please, I really need you up here. I just know something is wrong with the TV." "No, you can either come get a new remote or wait for maintenance. They get here at 9 a.m. Then I hung up. Normally I wouldn't do that. It's super rude, but he was drunk and freaking me out. I'm the only one working. No one would notice if I vanished for a few hours. And it was obvious this guy wanted to live out some sort of hotel fantasy. It truly felt like he was trying to turn his night into an adult film. For the next few hours, I locked myself in the back room. I did paperwork and watched the cameras. All was quiet. Eventually, I felt safe enough to walk the halls in order to slip receipts under doors. As I try to be silent, I start to go over the breakfast stuff I need to complete downstairs in my head. I work mostly on autopilot until I get to the 3rd floor. Door after door, I slip papers through cracks. I had just finished slipping paper under another door when I hear the one behind me open up. I had slipped a receipt under that door just a few seconds ago. Assuming I had maybe woken someone somehow, I turned with an apology on my lips. But nothing came out. I couldn't breathe. The papers slipped from my hands. Creepy Drunk was just standing there. He was staring at my butt, and he was naked. Fear filled my whole body, and as he reached out a hand, like an invitation, I bolted. I ran all the way down the stairs and locked myself in the back room. With my eyes fixed on the camera feed, I called the police. It only took a few sentences to relate what was needed. The woman on the phone talked to me for the next few minutes. She kept asking if I was safe, and I said it looked like Creepy Drunk was still in his room. When the police showed up on the cameras, I hang up and greet them. Already long story short, I give the officers a key card and lock myself back in the back room. I call my manager to let her know what's happening. Luckily, the guy doesn't put up much of a fight. No yelling or denials, just a guy in sweatpants staring at the floor. I quit that job not long after. I just never felt safe there again. The second story is, former boss told me, "Then why don't you apply there?" 2 days later, I was giving my 2 weeks notice. I thought I had nothing to contribute to this sub, but this morning I remembered how I figuratively flipped the bird to my ex-employer when I followed his recommendation. But first, my credentials. I'm a software developer in a third world country. I hate this place. I love my kids above anything else. My partner is a wonderful head of development in another company. Believe me when I tell you she's one of the best bosses you could ever have. That's about all you need to know. So I used to work for one of the largest liquor makers in this SH hole, along with many other young software developers. Before working there, I used to work for an SH company, but that's a story for another day. By the time this happened, COVID-19 had just made its appearance, and companies were starting to send their employees to WFH, and the dev team was not the exception. Now for the kinda main part. We were underpaid. As far as software devs go, our laptops were slow, using mechanical disk drives instead of solid state. It was not impossible to work on them, but if you're running 2 or 3 instances of VS 2019, it can get awfully slow. Many of my teammates worked really long hours, maybe 14 to 16 hours a day because it's a very important project, and insert corporation owner's son's name needs it working yesterday. I reminded some of them that even though our paychecks showed the same payout, I made more than them, since working longer hours meant a lower rate per hour, thus a lower salary. One of them got pretty upset, and ended up handing his notice at the day after I did. Nice. So one day while working from home, I started complaining on our dev group chat about how slow the computer was. I also pointed out our yearly profits. I had access to upper management profile reports, were enough to buy laptops for the whole company twice a year, and voiced how my partner's company was upgrading all laptops, not just devs, and workstations to include SSDs and more RAM. My manager wrote back, "Why don't you go work there then?" I didn't respond. I immediately polished up my resume and sent it to different places, just not on my partner's company. Laws won't allow that. I heard from a recruiter that same day, and by the end of the week I had an offer in hand, twice the pay. I signed the offer and then went straight to my team lead's, not my manager, house, to get his signature. I needed it for my records, with a huge grin on my face. It may not sound like much, but for me it was a perfect FU. Manager never said anything. He's too proud to admit he shouldn't have answered like that, but such are crappy managers, I guess. The rest of my coworkers left in the following 12 months. From the original 8-people team, there's only one left. And that's my story. It's one more for the then go elsewhere lot, but I enjoyed it so much while it happened. And the last story is, company wants something from me, doesn't want to give me anything for it. I used to be an actual employee of a Fortune 500 company, big company, got laid off in a big thing in 2016, got a nice severance and paid off my house. I'm not young, got hired back on his contract in 2017 at big company, changed departments when work slowed, killed it at the new job testing electronics, replaced 2 people and did more than both combined. That work slowed and they changed me over to project management. Killed that too. They had people in it before that hated it and didn't follow through. My big company new lead loved the work. Then COVID hit and all contract took a 10% pay cut. Right after that, the actual employees got raises, which had been suspended. I was livid but worked from home, so I just cut my work hours in half. Still got the job done. My coworkers knew I was peeved. My boss and her boss knew too. Anyway, a year later, February of this year, my boss contacts me and tells me I need to do my old job of testing, which requires going into the office. Vaccines weren't available yet. And new job of project management. No mention of money, just effing do it basically. I heard she was gonna ask and totally hated it. I looked at my savings and decided F that SH. Told her I'm not comfortable with that. Got fired 2 weeks later. She shot herself in the foot, as now she needed 2 jobs done and had no one to do it. My lead was peeved. Now he does it all and split the old testing job up between others in the department, who were already overloaded. I would have done it for my 10% back. I have no idea why she thought that was an okay thing to do morally, personnel-wise and from a business standpoint in her department. It was completely effed up. Honestly, I was surprised, because it was so stupid from every angle. Got unemployment and ACA. Got lots of calls from headhunters. Got a lot of offers as they thought I would take a pay cut. Nope. I totally played hardball because not working with big unemployment checks and ACA insurance was pretty sweet. Got a new contract job at the same place. Was very clear about what happened. My new boss seemed to think what happened was really SH. Got a 20K raise. Win. Fast forward to 6 months later / yesterday. My new boss at big company who loves me says we need your contract company to change you from status X to status Y. It helps my budget. Told him I was wary. Contacted my contract company. I'm basically becoming a new hire again. I even have to take a drug test. Asked what's the deal, how does this work? He said no changes in pay, etc. I said I need that in writing. And oh by the way, how much of a raise can I get? He says maybe a raise next year. My response was that's entirely too tenuous. I'm not signing anything without a raise. There are a lot of contract jobs at big company, and I have 17 years of experience and a year's pay in the bank. F them. It's a new world and I'm here to teach them that if they haven't figured it out yet. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.